We are gradually bouncing back off of the lows on the CS market. And one thing that I will say is crucial at this point is setting up long-term investments. Anytime that we see a significant wipeout in the market, it's the best opportunity to set yourselves up for long-term success because, again, you do not want to be buying at major highs because this is typically where we do see a waterfall moment where the market does get the wipeout. So now is the best time to be looking into opportunities. And in this video, I actually want to talk about an AK skin. I'm actually going to be giving you guys two of them that I personally see being very valuable long term. And we're going to be addressing exactly why. Now, before I really jump on into this video, I quickly want to say thank you guys to all of you out there that have subscribed to the channel. We have hit 40 subscribers. We're on a path to 100. So if you guys do enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, and turn notifications on to never miss a future update. So let's dive on in and talk about a few skins. Number one, let's address a skin that almost everyone knows, which is the MP9 Wild Lily. So this skin, very similar to the Wild Lotus, AK, we know these are skins that have become extremely valuable over time. Now, the reason is that this skin is not boxable. You are not going to case open 100 cases to unbox this skin, which is why the price of this skin itself has gone insane from, sub $100 to over $3,000+ and at some point in time, there was a few prices at the 4K plus range. And when we think about this, right, some of these types of skins, we wish that we would have bought up some of the supply on the markets before this big boom happens. Now, we never know when this is going to actually happen, but there's a few things that we can take into account to actually help us, predict if a skin is going to be valuable in the long term or not. And that's why these two AK skins that I will be talking about in this video, I foresee them becoming very valuable because of this same metric. Now let's actually take a quick look at some of the AK skins. Right off the rip, we do see some nice valuable skins here, but the question is, which ones are boxable or not? If you are new to this space and you actually don't know how to do this, on CSGO skins.gg, if you go to the advanced search section and you just go to unboxable and you put no, you'll get this page. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to be looking into two AK skins, but I want to go over a few that have been very successful in this category as well. And of course, yes, we're going to start with the Wild Lotus because this is a skin that's worth over $20,000 now. And of course it is because it's an AK skin as well, because again, if you are on T side, you're mainly using the AK. I mean, even on CT, you're trying to get the AK if it's dropped. And that's why the AK skins typically are a little bit more valuable if they are coverts or very rare skins. But if we actually look at the price chart here, you could see how insane this skin has been over time in terms of price action. Even before, CS2 launched, this was a very valuable skin. And today it's extremely valuable. And it is because it also looks pretty good in game, as you guys can see, but it's also extremely rare because it's not boxable. Now, just like the Wild Lotus, the hydroponic is also in a very similar state because it's not boxable, and the value of this one has gone absolutely insane over the years. I'm sure that a lot of people wish that they can go back to 2018 and buy up a decent amount of these around $100 because of how expensive they are today. And it's not a, incredible looking skin. A lot of people do like it, but for the most part, this is not a very shiny skin. And I'm using that to also support my argument on one of these skins, because I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of people that say, well, it's because the Wild Lotus or the Wild Lily look very good in game because they are very, flashy. They look very good. They have a nice color to them. I get that, but sometimes it's not just about how the skin looks. It's also about the rarity. And when it comes to even the X-Ray, again, this is also another expensive looking skin. And we can see the chart for this. It's actually pretty low compared to its 2021 highs. Which I do believe that the X-Ray will get back to those levels. But again, this is a skin that with CS2, it made it so extremely bright. And it's also a skin that a lot of people actually do like if they have red inventories or, a few gloves that kind of go with it, because it is a very good skin with any red glove, collection. So when we think about this, we are looking even at some of the, you know, lower tier AK skins that were also, non-boxable, like the Jet Set. This skin hasn't gone crazy like the Wild Lotus or even the Wild Lily or even technically the Hydroponic, because again, the X-ray has always been pretty expensive. In recent times, it has, had some pretty nice spikes, like for example, these $4,000 spikes here. But the Jet Set, it has gone up in value quite a bit. I mean, going from like $80, $70 all the way up to like 1,000 plus. The thing is that it hasn't really gone to like the 4K plus region, and that's because this is not a covert like some of these other skins. For an example, the AK X-ray is a covert. The hydroponic is not a covert, but it is one that is a little bit more rare considering the fact that it came out in 2015. The Jet Set came out in 2014, but the hydroponic is a little bit more sought after because a lot of people do like the look of it over the Jet Set. The Jet Set is kind of boring. It's not that significant in terms of like, what the colors actually look like on it. So this is not a very, sought after skin, but it's still very expensive and it did hit over $1,000 plus. The main thing that I'm looking at here with these AKs is, are these going to fit into inventories? With the Jet Set, this doesn't really fit into a lot of inventories where you're kind of basing it off the glove patterns or anything like that. So I don't think that this is going to be a very sought after AK skin, and that's why it's again still around like $750, even though it came out in 2014 and it's not boxable. But the Ascent collection is one that I'm mainly looking at with one of the AKs, and that is of course the Midnight Laminate. And you might say, well, it's a restricted item, so it's not an extremely rare AK. However, when you are in the game, you go into the armory and you go into the Ascent collection and you have to spend armory tokens to actually get these skins. Now, most people are going to probably be pulling blues unless they're trying to farm this as much as possible, which is why, when we think about some of these skins, they are still very rare to get. The Midnight Laminate is not extremely rare, but compared to like the blues, it definitely is. Now, over time, I could see the supply of the Midnight Laminate really kind of, getting swallowed up. Most people are targeting the Stratosphere here in terms of the Ascent collection, but I still think that this is a skin that could go up significantly in value. And when we think about this compared to some of these other AK skins, guess what? The colors of this and how it looks in game can go very well with some glove combos, which is exactly what I'm looking at, right? Because I do think that this is a skin that in game, a lot of people will want to have this on their T side just to have it match their combos. And when it comes to this skin as well, over time, this thing has kind of gotten flatlined a bit. There was times where it was $50, $60, and even today it's still pretty flatlined. I know on Skinport it's like $75, but on some of these other skin sites, for example, if we go down to CS Float, $67. It's not too bad. It's, priced pretty good. And this is one that you could actually get a decent amount of the supply on the low end. Even if you're looking at minwares or field test it, again, you can get a decent amount of the supply. And if we're really kind of looking at some of these other skins, I mean, the Jet Set in field tested, well-worn, battle scarred, $200 plus, $300 plus. Even the X-ray, we're talking $300 plus for just battle scarred. Same with even the hydroponic, $800 plus. The Wild Lotus is $3,900 plus. Is the Midnight Laminate going to be as rare of, compared to some of these other AK skins? Not exactly, but I still think that it could hit some of those higher price targets in terms of like the battle scarred, the well worn, because I do think that the battle scarred will be at least around roughly $50 plus, which is still roughly a 5x from where it is today. So I do think that this is definitely a skin that will hold its value long term and even go up in value as well. Now, the next skin that I'm looking at is the Nouveau Rouge. This is a skin that I foresee being very valuable long term. It's already pretty expensive in terms of factory new at $350, but again, I think that it deserves that price tag. When we think of, let's go back to like the X-ray or even the hydroponic, because I think that the hydroponic is a little bit more accurate here to really kind of compare the Nouveau Rouge to. So factory new, $4,000 plus. The Nouveau Rouge is still a classified just like the hydroponic, And when we think about this, it's still fresh, launched back in March of this year. But the look of this skin is so clean. It will go with red inventories very well. And I think it's going to be one of those skins that a lot of people are looking into buying, especially, you know, on the lows, which is why we every single time that we do see a spike to the downside, the supply actually does get bought up quite a bit and we start to move back to the upside. So demand for this skin could definitely be there. And like I said, I do think that it will go very well with a lot of, you know, overall glove patterns. And if we're really looking at, you know, the AK skins that are not boxable right now, let's go back to that, right? When we're looking at some of these skins that are a little bit less expensive, that look a lot better, that are not too simple, the Nouveau Rouge is one that is it's a little bit more complex of a skin. It looks a lot cleaner than most of these other ones. It has a little bit more going on. And in game, it looks very clean. It has that royal sort of view to it. And I just foresee this AK going up significantly in value. I think that the battle scarred version will 10x. I think that we could easily hit $200. And then also in terms of factory new, I think that at some point in time, it will be close to $4,000 as well. I think that it's very similar to the hydroponic in a sense. Obviously, it took the hydroponic 10 years to get to the price tags that it is now. And it has been kind of trading around these prices for a bit of time. But this is why holding some of these skins long term is a very, very good idea. Obviously, the hydroponic, even back in 2021, it was hitting close to $2,000. So I don't think that you have to hold it forever. But, you know, looking at this as more of a long-term investment is the best way to go about it. And on CS Float, you can get this for like $350. If you're looking at Skinport, there's only one active offer, and that's $390. But I think that this is going to be a very sought-after skin. It goes with a lot of glove combos. So definitely look into these two for the long term, in my opinion. I think I really do think that almost any skin that's in the higher tier bracket, and I'm not talking about, you know, if we really kind of go back to those skins, I'm not looking at any blues because I don't think that the blues are going to be that crazy in terms of value. I mean, they still will probably go up in value, but I'm mainly looking at the restricted, the coverts, or the classified. And I have to say, any covert or classified that is unboxable and is on the low, I would always sweep the supply because long term I see them being very, very expensive, especially if they look good. So I would say Midnight Laminate and the Nouveau Rouge are going to be two AK skins that could very well make you rich long term. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy the video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on. And with that being said, this has been Nick. Peace out, guys.